Okay, welcome everybody. We have about 20 people in the webinar, so it's quite a nice small webinar. The nice thing about this is if you have a question, just unpause, ask away, or you can just leave a question in the comments section on the in the bottom right hand corner. There's a little icon that you can click into chat. Danae will then interrupt me and she'll ask the question. Use emojis. The emojis help because everybody's muted. It's almost like I'm talking in a cave, so that helps a lot. So let's go into the agenda. Okay, so just right. So the topic for today is to upgrade your Google Ads. Just quickly on me. So I've been in the industry for 19 years, worked with some really nice clients, and I found a few months ago I realized that a lot of the digital media stuff was moving towards machine learning and AI. So I did a course to just understand what was actually happening there. So I'm going to share some of the learnings there. So the agenda for today is I'm going to talk about AI and machine learning. So a little bit of theory. So nobody talks about the theory behind it, and I think it's quite important to understand what it is before you can actually use it well. So we're going to talk a little bit about theory. I'm not going to go into math, don't worry about it. Also going to then talk about how do you use machine learning in Google Ads. Also going to talk about awareness campaigns. So where does it fit? Then talk about audiences. And then we're going to talk about awareness campaign tips. So the last section of the call is going to be about tips. So I'm fairly good with Google Ads, but Dylan is going to join us in about half an hour. So if there's any super technical questions, he will service them. And then we're going to go into a Q&A session. So this session is for you. So if, for example, there's something specific that you want to ask, or you're having trouble with something, then in the Q&A section, let's dive into it. Cool. So let's talk a little bit about theory, AI and machine learning. So this is the different kinds of campaigns that you can run in Google Ads. So you can run search ads, you can run display campaigns, you can run video campaigns, smart discovery, etc. So there's a lot of different kind of campaigns that you can run in Google Ads. And what's happened in the last few years is that AI is baked into most of these campaigns. So, for example, Performance Max is a black box of AI. So if you don't understand how AI works and machine learning works, then Performance Max is just going to run like just get out of hand. The same with discovery as well. Even search, in search you can choose the keywords, but it does sometimes trigger keywords that you even haven't selected. And the creative uses AI as well, and the bidding engine is also AI. So most of the campaigns in Google Ads now have AI, and we've just seen there's a misunderstanding of what it can do, but I'll get into the details. So in terms of just talking a little bit about theory, is everybody uses the word AI at the moment, so artificial intelligence. And it's very important to understand that machine learning sits inside the discipline of AI. So when somebody talks about AI, it includes machine learning. Okay, so it's not something separate, it's not something different. It's just a sub-discipline from AI. So I think AI is being used for anything that has a piece of code in it at the moment is called AI because of all the hype. But we're specifically going to talk about a subcategory of AI called machine learning. It doesn't mean we're not talking about AI, we're just talking about machine learning. So when your boss asks you, do you know anything about AI? Then you can say, yes, you do know. You've learned some stuff about machine learning. And that's just to qualify the terminology. So how does machine learning work? So the best example that I think everybody can relate to is to predict the value of your house. So what machine learning can do, and for more technical people, is it's basically a regression that we apply. So we get the size of the house, we get the number of bedrooms in the house, and then what happens is there's a price associated with this. So these two variables produce this result. So if you have a house of 500 square feet and you have one bedroom, the house is worth this much. If it's this big, 4 bedrooms, it's worth that. So what's very important, the concept here is that A, these two variables, gives you B, the price. So A delivers B. So when we take this to marketing and Google specifically, we would have visitors with different profiles. So for example, each one of these lines is a different visitor. So this visitor, he has an interest in IT, age 26, visited Daily Maverick, he's on a mobile phone. Did he convert? No, he didn't convert. Somebody travel 47, YouTube, mobile, no. Somebody on shopping, 33, Facebook on a tablet, yes, this person converted. So again, we go back to this A produces B. So if for example, we have enough data, we can take the inputs, which is A, and predict what is going to happen in the future, B. So in marketing, so converting means they've turned into a lead or they've bought something. So just to sort of illustrate what is B again, so B is the lead that's actually generated on your website. So this is when somebody clicks an Inquire Now button, or if they fill out a form, or they actually make a purchase or submit a request for insurance quote. So what machine learning does is it will predict if the person will convert or not. So you give it A, so IT 27 Daily Maverick Mobile, and then it is going to try and find people that will convert for you. So this is where you give it A, and it will then predict and say, okay, we believe that this person will convert or not. So the A leads to A, the data set here, will lead to B. So one of the things that we've seen with many Google Ads accounts in the last year or two is, because most of the campaigns in Google run like this now. Google will go and find your best clients for you. But the problem is that Google is not receiving this information correctly from a lot of advertisers. We've seen this a lot. So this, without B, the machine learning just does not work. So practically what it means is that if this conversion data is missing in your machine learning algorithm or campaigns, it will not know what is a valuable customer, what is a lead. So it absolutely goes haywire. And what we've seen is people go, okay, this is AI and machine learning is amazing. And then what they do is they build a whole bunch of campaigns, they put in a whole bunch of keywords, and they put a whole bunch of ads in, and then they believe that Google will just optimize everything for me. And the interesting thing is Google is incredibly good at optimizing your campaigns for you, but it can only optimize it for you if you give it B. Without B, like, it doesn't know what is good and what is bad. Remember, it's just a machine. It doesn't think by itself. So delivering B and giving B to Google Ads is critical to the campaigns. And if you don't give it B, or you give it the wrong B, then this happens. I don't know if any of you fish, but this is like classic. So we go into the count, and then everything is just all over the place because they believe that Google will magically figure out what is a good and a bad client. Without B, Google doesn't know what how this works. Any questions on this? We just pause there. Does this make sense? So you can run machine learning, it's amazing, but you have to give it the feedback. You need to go, well done, Google, well done. You sent me a really good customer. This produced a sale or a lead. Any questions?
Yeah, sorry, it's Ashika here. My question is, what is the B? Is the B our database that we're giving to Google?
Good question. So the B, the B is different for every company,
Yeah.
but a B is usually a lead when somebody has submitted a lead form.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, I understand that. Are you saying then that once we've generated, Google has given that lead to us, we've got to then instruct Google that that was well done and Google needs to generate more of that?
You got it. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So the term for that is the conversion data.
Conversion, yeah.
Yes. So the conversion data sits in Google and your Google Analytics, and you have to send that back to Google Ads. So you need to tell Google, okay, you need to tell Google, this is B, and you need to give B to Google. So then Google goes, oh, excellent. I'll go and find more of these customers. That is exactly what it is.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
And
Okay.
I suppose you can show us how that is done, right?
So this session doesn't go into the depth of this, but Ashika, I'll send you a link to a webinar that we did that spoke about these conversions, how to set them up.
Thank you. I
So I'll send that over to you. Any other questions? Bobo.
Yes, we've got in from Vanilla.
Oh, sorry. I forgot I was on mute. Yeah, just my question, Freddie. Can you maybe explain this formula in the context of, say, Google AdSense, how it actually works?
Okay, that's a good question. So let's say you're placing an AdSense ad. So what Bobo's meaning is like you have a display ad, and then Google places these ads on Daily Maverick, News 24, News 24, etc., like a whole bunch of websites. Okay, so your ad is being shown on these websites. If you give Google B the lead information back, you send it back to Google, the conversion data. What happens is it'll learn and it'll know where your good customers are. So in time, it's going to learn that the Daily Maverick is producing customers for you, and IOL is producing good customers for you, and the other ones are not. So what will happen over time? It goes convert, didn't convert. So stop showing the ads on those. So what will then happen is the ads will automatically, the machine will learn, okay, Daily Maverick and IOL ads are working, News 24 is not working. So don't serve it on News 24, only serve it on IOL and on Daily Maverick. Does that make sense?
I see. So it pretty much learns just the behavioral traits in terms of how you browse.
Yes, so it makes it builds a pattern. After a while, if you give it B back, it'll realize women between the ages of 35 and 42 on the Daily Maverick convert. So just show the ads to them. Men between the ages of 19 and 28 on soccer websites don't convert. And then in time, it would stop showing the ads to them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see. 100%.
Okay, cool. But very important, because it sounds like magic and it sounds like you can be lazy. But if you get it wrong, it'll learn the wrong thing. If you don't give it the right data, it'll just go woo, and just go and find, the worst customers for you. So just be careful of that. Okay.
Okay.
So it's incredibly powerful. So previous it was like you spend 80% of your time on the targeting, on where you get and where you think they are, and then 20% on tracking and see if it's working. Now it's almost like 80% is on the tracking, making sure the data, the B, is fed correctly to Google Ads.
Okay, I see.
So at least I think the age demographic data is pretty good. When you sign up, you give your date of birth. So it's pretty good when you sign up for Google. Yes, Danae?
No, I just wanted to raise that Elise had a question.
Okay, cool. Any other questions? Can I continue? I'm gonna explain how to use it now. Okay. Right. Okay, so if you have this, so let's go. So let's talk about this B, this conversion data. So the conversion data sits inside Google Analytics 4. Okay, so this is either a lead or a sale. And what you need to do is to publish this conversion and import it into Google Ads. So it sits under the conversions tab in Google Analytics. So you pull it into there, and then you give it a name. So for example, ours is called when somebody registers for a workshop. So anybody that registers for a workshop is our B. So that's why we use that. So that is B. So if you go into Google Ads conversion menu, you should see a whole bunch of them there. But it's very important that there's no duplicates and that they're working. And then once you've started sending B data to Google Ads, you can change your bidding strategy. So normally when you run a Google Ads campaign, you can bid on a cost per click. So that's traditionally how Google Ads worked. You say, I'm willing to pay 10 Rand or 15 Rand a click, or in Rory's case, 100 Rand a click. And what you can do now is, if you send it B, you can say to it, please go and optimize. I don't really care about the cost per click. What I really care about is the conversions. I would like you to optimize and get me the most amount of conversions that is available, and I'm willing to pay a target cost per acquisition. So target acquisition is, let's say you pay 10 Rand per click, 10% of the people turn into leads. So you need 10 clicks for a lead. So that's 10 Rand times 10 equals 100 Rand. So then you put in your target cost per acquisition is 100 Rand. So it will then optimize the campaigns for those. It'll choose the cost per click automatically for you, and it'll then go and find maximize conversions for you at a specific target cost. Okay. There's one caveat with this is when you start a campaign, you don't have any data. So you will start off campaigns with cost per click, and your data will grow. And only once you've achieved about 30 conversions per month, you can switch over to this bidding system. So I would recommend that this has to run, and you have to have some traction in this first, and then to further optimize it, you can then switch over to this bidding method. Okay. What then happens is, so that's step 2. What then happens is you need to let it learn. So this is where Google then goes and finds those customers. So for example, if I go back to this slide, it now will start showing the ads to multiple people, like hundreds and hundreds of these people, and it will get the data back for B. So it's learning now, like who is converting. So for example, like earlier example, in time, it's going to learn, oh, the Daily Maverick is really good. Like, I need to show more ads there. Or IOL is good. Or News24 is not good. So this is what happens in this period. It's learning. Okay. What is quite important to understand is without accurate B, like it'll just learn forever, or it'll learn the wrong thing. So this learning period, luckily it does tell you how long it would take for the campaign to learn. So after 5 days, you should get a sense of if it's working or not. Okay. So the problem is that you make changes, you implement it, you go live, and then you have to leave it for 5 days, because it is going to show the ads to a whole bunch of people that is not going to buy. But in time, it's going to realize, oh, okay, this is a good profile of a customer, and this is a bad one. Okay. Any questions?
Looks like we're good.
Okay. No questions. Let's continue. Okay. If you do have this, if you have this Google Ads account, so if you have conversion tracking issues, if you have poor keyword targeting or high CPCs and poor conversion rates, like if you struggle with your Google Ads, Danae is going to share a link, and I'll do a free review of your Google Ads account, and we can go through your B data to see if it's actually correct or not. Okay, then I will post that in the thing. Right, let's talk about awareness campaigns. So first thing is like, who cares about who cares about an awareness campaign? So I think the biggest reason to look at awareness is to build your marketing funnel. So we like this methodology. So it's a marketing funnel, but we turn it upside down. So for us, the sales sits at the top here, so people enter in at the bottom. And there's these little steps that people take before they become a client. So for example, initially they would be like, oh, I didn't know you guys existed. Then I may search for a solution to the problem. Then I would start reviewing products. And only then would I actually give my email address to join a newsletter or webinar or something else. And it takes effort to move people through this process to make them a client. So we like the fact that it's upside down because it takes effort to get them up. Like gravity is not helping you, it's actually against you. So practically, when you run a Google Ads campaign, somebody would do like a solution-based search. It would be like, I need car insurance. Then it would go and say, I want car insurance with cashback or something, or with a tracking solution. And then they would do a brand search. They would go and do Hippo, or they would do My Way, or they would do Momentum, or they would actually search for a brand. An awareness sits before that. So at this stage, you can make somebody aware of your brand, and then hopefully during this process, they'll remember that you sponsored the rugby, or sponsored the cricket, or had an ad, or like had sponsored something that you cared about, or had an ad online or video. So this is where awareness fits in. And I think the landscape has changed significantly in South Africa, especially in terms of media. I'm 44 years old. I don't watch DSTV. I only subscribe to it now because of the rugby. But like, if there's a media planner that only spends money on DSTV and radio, they don't reach me. So we've gone from DSTV to Netflix, and TikTok is just absolutely insane at the moment. So I think a lot of the media and awareness campaigns traditionally that's been on television or radio has moved online. So you can do, YouTube ads are quite affordable still. You can do YouTube videos. You can do ads on the display network on websites, for example, Daily Maverick or Business Day. The nice thing about Google Ads display is you can show your ads on News24 and Business Day and a whole bunch of publisher websites. You can also use the same platform for advertising on YouTube. And YouTube, I had a call earlier with Dylan this morning, is like, you can get really good reach on YouTube, and it's very affordable. So it's a very good platform to look at. And then last week it was announced that Twitter, or X, was switching over their advertising inventory over to Google Ads as well. So what it means is you don't have to buy ad space on Twitter directly anymore, or through a local representative. You can actually, inside Google Ads, specify Twitter or X and place your ads there. So this makes it quite powerful in terms of awareness campaigns. Any questions around display? I'm going to go into more detail now, but any questions up to now? No. Okay. We do have a session on the 26th of October where we're going to map media strategy and the sales funnel. So what we're basically going to do is to take the sales funnel and then show how each one of the media channels fits in there. So if you're interested to sign up to that. Right, let's talk about audiences. So in terms of audiences, again, I asked the question, who cares about audiences? So the first thing that is very useful when it comes to audiences. Now, so just to give you an example of what is an audience is, if somebody has visited your website, they can be considered an audience. It's somebody that is engaged with you. Somebody that are interested in fishing, for example, they are an audience. If somebody is interested in insurance product, they're an audience. If somebody has visited the Daily Maverick, they're an audience. So that's the definition of an audience. So the first nice thing about audience is the targeting that it allows you to do. So I'm using Cura as an example. So on the Business Day website, I'm not sure exactly how many unique people visit Business Day at the moment. But if you wanted to run a campaign and just target Durban parents, that's all you wanted to target, you can then just target those people on Business Day. So you build an audience. So anybody that visited the Durban section or any one of the schools in KwaZulu-Natal on your website, and you're building an audience there, and then if they visit Business Day, Google recognizes this and it'll show them an ad that's relevant to them, just to them. So only they will see the ad. So there's a huge money-saving element to using audiences. So you don't have to advertise to the entire Business Day. You just advertise to those people. So that let's say you were supposed to spend 100,000 Rand a day on Business Day. Instead of 100,000, you spend 1,000 Rand or 2,000 Rand a day on Business Day. Does this make sense? Any questions? Yeah.
Yeah, I actually want to add to that. So, I mean, you can take it even a step further. So you can then make the messaging relevant around Durban specific, or it's a great way to retarget and be super relevant with the messaging and show your ad at the right time to the right people. So it's making your media spend super efficient.
Exactly. So personalization. So for example, again, Curo is exactly what Danae said. So the Durban parents, the audience, Durban parents, you just show them the Salt Rock Primary School ad. The Bloom parents, you show them Bloom ads. Durbanville parents, you show them Durbanville. Because a lot of campaigns is hyper localized. There's no point in showing an ad to everybody on Business Day about Durbanville's high school. Like that's just waste. So this makes it, that old saying is show the right ad at the right time to the right person. This is where this comes into play. So if you have a really good audience strategy, you unlock this capability to show ads in these places. And then the third reason why audiences is a really good idea to get into quite soon is to future-proof yourself. So next year, third-party cookies are going away. So for people that don't, see, there we go, there's the cookie. So third-party cookies are basically the tracking technology that's being used on the internet. So if somebody clicks on an ad and they go to a website and they make a sale, a lot of that data is going to go away. So in the past, you were able to, for example, let's go and do this. In the past, you could, for example, target people doing fishing. And you can target, you can use one of Google's audiences for people interested in fishing, and then you can show the ads on the Business Day to them. A lot of that audience data is going to go away. And what people are going to rely on is first-party audiences. What that means is the old classic remarketing. So where if somebody visited your site, you can go and remarket to them. So those audiences will still exist, but audiences that Google supplied to you or that other people have, that stuff is really going to go away when third-party cookies are stopped by Chrome next year. I don't know if anybody has advertised or done any marketing on iOS recently on your phone. A lot of that tracking has just basically gone away. It's very difficult to measure ROI from Apple phones, and this is the reason why. It's because they've already blocked third-party cookies. So it's quite important to get into this. Data is going to become very valuable in the future. Another way that you can build audiences, as I showed there, is you can upload your own customer data to create audiences as well. So for example, you could literally take a list of all your Bloemfontein clients and uploaded it into Google, and you can then show ads specifically to them. So the data that you have available in your CRM or your sales management system is going to become critical in terms of using this stuff next year. Any comments or questions?
I've got a question, Fadi. So you're talking about building audiences. And I know there's some limitations to the audience sizes that for you to use it within your media platforms. What are those limits, and when would you recommend people start building those audiences to future-proof their own data?
Good question. So in terms of Google Display, I think it's 1,000. That's the minimum audience size that you need to start it to work. I would recommend setting, so I'm going to go into technical stuff, but in Google Analytics 4, put your cookie duration like for as long as you can. I think it's 13 months or something.
It's
so put it
14 months.
14 months, put it to 14 months, and then set up the audiences now, because if by middle June, July, August next year, the audiences are switched off that you've been relying in the past, you've built up those audiences already. So you don't need to necessarily use them or know how to use them. But if you go and set them up now, they're going to start building over
So setting
time.
up like your library. No.
Yes, exactly. It's like setting up your library. So go and set them up now to make sure that they are there. Elise, yes, you build those audiences in Google Analytics 4. So there's in the configuration button at the bottom, you click on that, and then it takes you to audiences. And then you can set up your audience there. So Dylan, you add something up. I'm going to log into Google Analytics quickly and to show them how it works.
Dylan is quiet.
Dylan is quiet.
While you're finding your screen, yes, Manela, you've got a question.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's more just out of curiosity, and I just want to pick Ferdy's brain here about this. So Google has voice recognition, right? And I know that they are using some sort of algorithms based on this voice recognition technology to actually they use it to identify, obviously, like what kind of brands you like. It's pretty much, you could say, it's a form of data capturing. So because I've noticed that based on certain conversations that I've had, it's just a bit weird, or it's just a coincidence. I would actually see ads just based, if maybe I'm having a conversation about music, or I'm in radio, and next thing I'll just see pop-up ads related to that topic. So I just wanted to just pick your brain about, does Google actually use voice recognition as a form of, I think, as a way of just capturing data from audiences to just really sort of track, just what their interests are, and, to pretty much capture the information that you pretty much displayed on the A block earlier, in terms of demographics and everything.
Yeah, so in terms of Google, okay, so the speech recognition is exactly A and B. It hears stuff, and then it like tries to decipher what you said. So so in terms of the approach to machine learning, it's exactly the same thing. Does Google listen to you over your Android phone? I don't think so, unless you start talking to it. That's up for debate. I've heard many people contradict me on that, but it hasn't been in the public domain. I know if you have a Google home device at home, like that is, I leave the mic off there. Like I feel quite uncomfortable with something listening to me. So the technology is there to do it. Do they do it? I don't know. What I do know is WhatsApp is definitely being used by Facebook for targeting as well. So it does pick up like what you're talking about. So if you're talking about an artist, it is going to pick up those signals.
Yeah.
It's anonymized, but it's still being picked up. So are they using that data? If you allow them to use it, they can use it. Does the technology exist to do it? Yes. Do they do it? I still think they have some ethics in terms of data usage there, and it's huge legal implications. Sorry, Dylan, you want
Debatable.
to add something?
Yeah, can I add
Just
to
out of
that?
curiosity,
Freddie, can I add to that?
Go for it.
Yeah, so like as you're saying, so it's not, they actively say they do not do that through voice, Google, but what they do, which is maybe just as scary, is you probably find what happens is they look at your friend group that they've identified as like your community or people that you email or that crew, and then it's like, okay, this person likes this artist, or this person's done some sort of search around this artist. He's friends with you, and that's why you start getting served ads. So rather than like straight up listening to a conversation, because then they open themselves up for legal action there, they can still they can identify you through your community and what
So
your
it's
friends like.
creating their own lookalike.
Yeah, it
What
could
your
be
friends,
specific conversations that maybe it might just recognize. You won't recognize all conversations, but maybe it'll just pick up on some conversations that maybe are relatable to any sort of brand or popular culture.
No.
no, unless you've like searched, like done voice search, like you like hello Google and then do the whole search that way. They don't do it by, like, they don't keep the mics on Google anyways. Facebook's a whole another kind of worms. Meta. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But sorry, we're digressing a little bit into privacy issues now. But Denise, somebody else had a question as well.
Yes, I believe it's Janke from Curo. So if we upload our customer data from our CRM, how safe are our data? In our case, if we upload the details of our parents per school, what is the chances for a breach, and how does the Poppy Act work with this?
Oh, great question. So I think how safe is the data? That is the same question is, do you use Gmail for your email? And how safe do you feel about that? I think that's sort of, how safe do you feel with that? How safe do you feel with Google knowing that you're searching for depression or anxiety or this medication? So I think that's a personal risk, and this is a business risk. I think of all the players in the market, I think Google is one of the better ones, and their security is incredible. But that's sort of the same. It's like, do you feel comfortable sharing that data or not, and how sensitive is it? Luckily, the data is anonymized, so yes, so it is like that's a choice that the business needs to make. In terms of Poppy, lots of legal stuff written about it. I don't know if you've ever phoned the Poppy office, but nobody answers the phone. So I know in South Africa we have great legislation, but the compliance and people like enforcing it is missing. I don't know where they are. The problem is that this is to say no, like we're not going to do it. It's going to become very complicated next year because of these cookies going away. So the tracking is going to become very difficult. So we are going to have to start sharing data with Google to see if our campaigns are working or not. So there's this privacy versus transparency and knowing what work trade-off that's going to happen this year is still fine, but next year that stuff is going to start playing out. What is possible is, I think there's a safer level to that, is, for example, is just the audiences on your website. You can start using that data. That's anonymous. So I think there are levels to doing this. So, and I think the first level is just use anonymous data to start learning how it works and what is a good idea, what not. But it has to be addressed. It has to be, a decision has to be made. So, any other questions?
If I can,
should I show? Yeah, go ahead. Dana.
Sorry, I just quickly want to add to that, if you don't mind. So just in terms of the audiences, I think, you know, we always try and boil the ocean, but like progress is better than perfection. So I think, you know, set up yourself a plan to start with basic audiences, and then you can go into the more advanced stuff, and then you can start with CRM integration. You don't have to do everything at once. Just start simple.
Okay, let me go into the platform and show how to set up audiences. I think that will be quite useful for everybody. Okay, so this is our Google Analytics 4 account. So when you're in yours, you go to admin at the bottom, and you go down to audiences. So if you click on audiences, you will see all your audiences listed there. So it usually creates a all user audience. But if you want to add or create a new audience, you go new audience, and then there's a couple of ones that it can, you know, you can just select here, which is quite easy. So you can say people that have been active on the website, that's one. So it builds it automatically for you. Or you can say somebody that has bought something. So then you have an audience automatically. You can also build your own. So for example, if somebody goes to a specific website, you can go create custom audience, and then you can go and say page view, page look path, and then I can say, for example, contains webinar. So it'll then anybody that's visited any one of the webinar pages will then create an audience as well. What's also very useful is when you do create this, is you'll see here on the right hand side, it says membership duration. So this is how long the person will be part of the audience. So you can, for a lot of people, it would make sense to just set it to the maximum. So this audience will build and build and build and build for about 14 months, and then only then will the cookie expire. So, and it'll also give you a summary of like the users in the amount of people in this audience. So we've got 280 people in this specific audience. Okay, so that's audiences. In terms of conversions, let me just quickly jump to that. So remember I spoke about B earlier. So the B is basically this data here. These are events in Google Analytics 4. So this is the B data. So we have set up things like contact page, a contact us form, and we've set up one, for example, called workshop register. So this is the event that we've set up. That's very important to us, and we've marked it as a conversion there. So once it's marked as a conversion, if you go into Google Ads, let me show you Google Ads, and you go to tools and settings, and you go to conversions there at the top. So Google Analytics captures it and measures it, okay? And then you have to import it from Google Ads to use it. So so this is all our B data here. So for us, this is like workshop register, contact us form submit, contact us page view. So if I want to add a new one in, I go new conversion action. I go import, Google Analytics 4, web, and I click continue. And what it'll do is it'll go and get all this data, all the ones that's been marked as a conversion that you haven't added in, it'll then display them here. So you click the one that you want and you click import and continue. That then means that you have now the B data inside Google in Google Ads. Okay. And then the next thing that you need to do is inside the campaign, you need to set that specific, choose the specific B conversion that you want. So for example, if we go into this one, see if I can change it here. Let's see. It's loading a bit slow now. So here, there we go. So we go marketing objective. Where is it here? CPC. This is where you can change the bid strategy that I showed earlier, maximize conversions. That's where that happens. And you can also set your goals. You can go and set specific campaign goals. So this one, for example, we would hypothetically just want contact us page views. You click save. And then what happens is it'll then optimize the campaign for that goal, that conversion, or that B data that I spoke about earlier. Okay, so I hope this that helps. Any questions? I can go into some tips to end off the session, but any questions up to now? We'll go into some technical stuff now as well. Any questions? Nope. Okay, cool. Let's just talk tips. Dylan, you're welcome to jump in this section. So this is some real tactical stuff. If you want to run awareness campaigns and use audiences and stuff, because I know everybody uses search. So the first thing is when you run a awareness campaign, so this is a banner or a video, you need to change. So we've seen a lot of advertisers think that they're going to get a sale from a video or a display banner. It's not going to happen. Like, they are not ready to buy it. All that you're looking for a display or video click is a little bit of engagement. That's it. So the KPI for a display or video ad or a banner is just a quality click. It's not a sale. Do not see it as a sale. It's not going to produce a sale for you. So that's very important. So set your KPIs for display campaigns to what it can deliver. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you need to so when you start showing your ads on different websites and things, make sure that you exclude mobile apps. Dylan, you may have a different view, but I absolutely detest any display ads or videos on mobile apps, because it's usually like a 9-year-old that's busy playing a game, and then they accidentally click on your ad.
Yeah, accidental clicks, and it's like when I take over accounts, it's not like maybe like 30%. It's like 80% of the budget is spent on apps.
Yes.
And you can assume that those are accidental clicks, because if you look at the engagement time once they land on the site or something, it's like it's like 5 seconds, less than 5 seconds. So that is, and you must understand, that's like a lot of inventory that Google has, all these apps. So they want to push as much as possible on the apps, because it's lucrative for them. So, and also it's funny, how to exclude the apps is quite convoluted. You have to like dig into the platform and find it. They've done well to try hide it.
Yeah, they've made it quite difficult. The problem is that they incentivized by, they win everywhere in terms of kids clicking on ads, unfortunately. Like, they make money from you, that they sort of, there's almost like this whole economy running of creating apps that run ads that 9-year-olds click on. And I just want to share, as a parent, as a father of a 9-year-old girl, what happens is they then click on the ad, and then it goes to some random website, and then they come crying to you and say, like, I don't understand what has just happened. So not just do you waste money, there's some parent that hates you as well. So just be very aware of that. So literally, we've seen 80% of people's display budget being wasted here. It's very important. If you want to know how to disable us, please email me or Dylan or Danae, because this is bad. The third one is sorry, Dylan.
No, I was going to say, yeah, and you can do it on an account level with the disabling. That's a good point. Yeah, you can disable it on an account level, so that when you do set up any new display campaigns and stuff, it'll automatically just be disabled.
Okay. Is there a question?
Yes, we've got one.
Hi, this is Yanka from Curo. Father, I wanted to check with you for overall for our Google campaigns. We're using external supplier to do our paid media ads, but they've recently recommended to us at Curo to drop discovery ads that's basically the display ads, rather focus on PMAX because our discovery ads aren't converting. So should we rather do discovery ads and then make the KPI on a quality click and not for conversions? And or yeah, what is your recommendation on that?
Dylan, do you want to take that one?
Sure. I suppose it's all dependent on your goal. If your goal is to be seen by the most amount of people, like awareness, then discovery would be the way to do that. If it is lead generation still and you want to generate those leads, Performance Max would be the way to go, and especially if you have a feed that you can use. I'm trying to like from an e-commerce perspective, you'd set up like the merchant center, have the products there, and it pulls through. And I find Performance Max works really well for that. But it is what do you want to achieve from the campaign,
Okay.
and then yeah, like Freddie was saying, set your KPI.
Oh, that's perfect. So I would then recommend not to drop discovery totally, rather use it for awareness. And then when we focus on a lead gen, then we will focus on our PMAX campaigns.
Yeah.
Okay.
To take a step back from that is the problem that I have with a lot of these absolute black box campaigns like PMAX and Discovery is that a lot of those mobile app inventory is sort of, I think, is also included there, because you can't, and the problem that I have is you can't see what's going on inside it. The reporting is limited. You can choose some audiences and things. So the way I approach it, and this is an opinion, Dylan may have a different view to is I would rather build out the search campaigns like really well, the display campaigns really well, video campaigns really well, and then what happens is, if I can't hit my cost per acquisition to get inquiries, then I would start going into the black box campaigns. Because the problem with the black box campaigns is if you send it the wrong data, if you send it the wrong B data, it is going to go IAY and you're not even going to know it. So, like, I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying that I would build out the campaigns that I have a little bit more control over and a little bit better transparency first. Sorry, somebody, I don't know, Dylan, what do you have a view on that?
Somewhat. So I agree with you for the most part, and I did agree with you wholeheartedly initially when Performance Max came out, but I've gotten great success from it. But like you said, it's the data that you put back in, because it's just optimizing towards that data. It's like we need to generate as many of those conversions at the lowest possible. You set the parameters. So like I don't want to have a ROAS lower than 5 to 1 for this campaign, which is Performance Max. And then if it's achieving that, which it often does, if you give it the key data, good assets, and you can exclude certain inventory. But again, you got to do it on the account level, and it'll be applied to all of the different campaigns underneath that. So yes, for the most part, I agree with you, but Performance Max specifically, I've seen some good success from it.
Okay,
and
cool.
also specifically for e-commerce.
Okay, let me answer the last two questions and then go through the last 2 points, and then we can take any questions. So the fourth thing is upload your own customer data to create audiences. I think we covered that a little bit earlier. That's a very powerful, valuable asset that you can, so for example, you can upload all your customer data and exclude them. You won't target them again. That's like one of the uses that you can use as well. So that'll save you 10 or 20% on your media if you're a big monolithic brand. And then the fifth one is to use data-driven creative. So there's Google has forced everybody to start using data-driven creative. So you have to give it 5 headlines, like 3 descriptions, images, videos, and text. So it can go and use machine learning to determine what people resonate with and what's not. And it's quite advanced technology, and it's quite easy to use. We found it difficult to sometimes source all the images and the videos and the different copy, but it is quite powerful to use that and to test it. So that's our 5 tips for for awareness campaigns. So we're running out of time. So any other questions?
Rory's got his hand up. Yeah.
Yeah, just a quick question. We've had quite good success with PMax. The only time it sort of dipped a bit was when we actually excluded our brand from our PMax campaigns, because we figured let's run search for brand and PMax for otherwise. But just a quick question, maybe for you, Dylan. So do you envisage that PMax would one day just take all display campaigns, so we could run all display through PMax?
So what Google's doing, from what I can see, is you have PMax, which is like that takes care of the lower to middle funnel, and it's like very much conversion based. And now they've released, it's like in beta, some accounts have had access to it. There's discovery campaigns, and that essentially is utilizing the inventory, YouTube display apps, unfortunately. And then that is a bit more of the display, the traditional display side of what you think of display at the moment, where PMax, I think, is more middle to lower funnel.
Okay.
Yeah, the demand, they call demand gen campaigns.
Demand gen.
Rory, do you have access to that beta?
Yeah, we started to run demand gen a couple of weeks ago, so it's pretty new.
Okay.
So yeah, the little that I've run with it so far, I've yet to see the success I want to see with it. But I know that I had the same with PMax when it was initially released. So I'm holding out my judgment yet, but I'm also like using like test budgets, small test budgets. It's not a big part of any of our campaigns.
Okay.
Cool. Any other questions? Cool. Then let's wrap up. Thank you, everybody, for the session.
Thank you.
Cool. A reminder, like if you want to have your Google Ads reviewed, and then we have another media and funnel webinar happening in 2 weeks' time. So just go and have a look at that.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Thank you.